Welcome to Intentional Excellence Elevate Your Life podcast, where we explore purpose, power, and transformation through stories that move and moments that matter. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. I'm a keynote speaker, member of two speakers bureaus, podcast host of Intentional Excellence, and live show host of Love Speaks. I'm also an education expert for my Nevada, where I support schools around the world by helping them thrive without needing administrators to do this work alone. Today is a very special day because we are kicking off a brand new series entitled Burned, Not Broken: Struggles Faced, Strength Found. This series will dive into stories of adversity, healing, and the courage to rise again. And what better way to begin than with our incredible first guest, Lacole Smith. Lacole Smith is a transformational leader. She's a certified life coach, cancer advocate, motivational speaker, and CEO of AL Publishing and Consulting, a powerhouse one stop shop for aspiring authors and speakers. Her story is a blueprint for turning adversity into purpose. She survived a house fire and lost her mother and overcame a life altering accident and cancer treatment. Lacole has faced unimaginable battles and emerged with unwavering faith and a deep dedication to helping others do the same. Through her book, Leaps of Faith, her mentorship programs, and her annual Author Speaker Expo, she empowers women to turn pain into purpose and share stories that heal, impact, and inspire. What more? She leads with authenticity, compassion, and a mission to ignite purpose and elevate voices. I am so proud to introduce to all of you Lacole Smith. Hi, Lacole.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. So, Lacole, did I cover everything? Did I leave anything out that you'd love to share with our audience before we dive in?
I think you pretty much covered everything. The only thing that I didn't put on there is the loss of my parents. I have lost both of my parents over the last few years, but other than that, you pretty much hit everything on the head.
Oh, it was so nice to hear more about our guests, and I'm sure that at this point, people are eager to get to know more about you and what you can share in this podcast. Lacole, so we are global. I just wanted to share to everyone. I'm in Florida, United States. Where are you from? Where are you joining us, Lacole?
I am in Louisiana.
Oh my goodness. So how's the weather there? Is it turning hot? Is it warmer now? It's closer to summer?
Yes, it's starting to get there real fast.
I can't wait. I have because I'm in schools. I have what 2 more weeks, and I am starting my summer soon. All right,
That's
so
amazing.
Lacole. Yeah, I know. All right, Lacole. So, are you ready?
I am.
I am so excited. All right, so Lacole, let's start. So, Lacole, you've faced incredible challenges. I did mention you survived a house fire, you lost your mom, and endured cancer treatment. Lacole, can you take us back to those hard seasons and perhaps share what those times were like for you?
Well, I'll start with the fire first. And with the fire, I was actually 12 years old. And just remember being sleeping in my room during the time that the fire started.
Okay.
I was the only child, but my mom was pregnant with my sister and brother, which are twins. And I guess you have that heightened sense of smell and everything when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So I was actually my room was next to where the fire was, but she woke me up basically just in time for us to everybody to get out the house, but we lost everything in that fire. But thank God he spared our lives and we didn't get hurt, we didn't get injured, but everything was gone. At the age of 12 and you just watch your stuff go up in ashes and it's not any way to save it. we were in the country, so we wasn't
Right.
close to the fire department a while to get there. And by the time they got there, and it wasn't any way they could have saved anything.
Lacole, I can't imagine how that must have felt. Because when you were sharing that, I recalled what happened early this year in California during the bushfire, right? And I was just imagining how they had a second, 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes warning before.
Right.
Like at that time, like what would you grab? Like when you're at the moment at that time in your life wherein you have to fight for your safety. I guess at that time no material thing mattered anymore. I'm just glad that you and your family are okay. How
Well,
did
I do
you?
know that my mom, she had a box that she pretty much kept with her like important
Okay.
papers in, and
Also, she was
she
able to
did
grab
grab
that.
she was able to grab that, but basically everything else was gone.
um is it all right to ask what started the fire? Was it just what, electrical, like, is it
That's
like a
yeah,
building fire? Oh my god, so it
yeah.
was
They
a
said it
house,
was
so it was a house
electrical. Yeah,
fire.
it was a
Oh
house
my
fire. It
goodness.
was electrical. Um, and it started in the right in the bathroom area, like hallway kind
Yeah.
of area of the house. But it was an electrical fire.
At such a young age, at 12, just tell me, what was the hardest part of it all at such a young age? I mean, at
Well,
that age,
I
we're
mean,
young. Was it the personal? Was it like, what I mean? Like, I just wanted to know what you were thinking at that time.
well, actually, we had just went shopping for my school clothes. Uh, Probably a week ahead before that, because school was getting ready to start. Um, and I remember just wanting to go and get my school clothes because they were brand new.
Right, right.
But we always washed them once we brought them home, so they were in the dryer. And I kept telling her, look, I can go to the dryer and get them out the dryer. And she was like, no, you can't go in the house.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and I remember being able to go into like the front part of the house,
Right.
and that was pretty much far as I could get, and I had to come back out. Um, and my dad he was in there trying to save some stuff, but he wasn't able to save anything either. So um, we were able to move the automobiles and stuff like that, but
Okay.
you know, I think he went back in to get his keys so he could move the automobiles. So we were able to save the automobiles, but everything else was
Okay.
gone.
Oh, I'm just glad that again, I just want to send my apologies that you had to go through that at such a young age. I cannot not imagine you going through that because I work with middle schoolers. Right now, as you know, currently I'm working with middle schoolers, and they're fragile at that age. They just want to have fun. They're worrying about their peers, like video games and stuff, and you are going through a life challenge that nobody has to go through. So I'm just glad that you're okay, and sending you, I'm just, like, I hope the community was able to help you, because
They were.
rebuilding must have been hard. Rebuilding.
It was really hard for me because I ended up having to switch schools because we ended up
Okay.
moving into a different area
Oh, okay.
for I think like a year and a half, right at two
Okay.
years. So I ended up going from where I knew everybody and was comfortable and having fun to somewhere where I didn't know and nobody didn't really
Yeah.
know me, and trying to fit in to a school system that had already started because they started earlier than we did. So
Okay.
they were already on the go and starting to,
That, yeah.
make their friends and all of this. And so I'm coming in, I'm new, I don't know
Right.
anybody, and it was difficult. And then I was the only child, like I said, at that time, my mom was
Okay.
pregnant. So it wasn't, I guess, bitter because I
Mm-hmm.
was used to being off by myself.
Right.
But at the same time, I was used to having friends at school because most of my friends I had been with since kindergarten. And,
Yeah.
that was hard to go into a new environment. I do appreciate it because I learned new people. I learned new things. the education system there was far more advanced than the area
Okay.
I came from. So that was a plus too.
Okay.
But it was a challenge. It was a
Okay.
big challenge.
I mean, you just, that it's like a challenge after another. Just, the change and then the transition, new friendships. So, whew, that was tough. What about your other struggles? You want to share? Do you want to share them and maybe how it changed you?
Well, the
Your
accident that I
mom.
had,
Yeah.
um, well, I actually had the accident before I lost my mom. So I had my
Okay.
accident in 2011. I got hit by two
How old
18
were you?
wheelers.
How old were you, Nicole, at that time?
Uh, I honestly don't even remember.
Okay.
20, I was in my 20s.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I had had my four girls. So I was in my 20s, like mid
Okay.
20s, maybe 25-ish. And I got hit by two 18 wheelers. One hit me from behind, and the other one hit me coming head on. Um, the driver that hit me from behind wasn't paying attention and ran
Oh,
into the back of me. So the automobile went down the road, turned
oh my
sideways.
goodness.
I got hit by the other one, and it pushed me back down the other way.
What do you mean
Turned
other
it
one?
down.
So two vehicles hit you?
I got hit by two 18 wheelers. Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
How are you here? How are you here, Nicole? We know why.
Nothing
Because
but
you have a
God. Nothing.
purpose. You have to
Nothing
share
but
your
God.
story.
Yes.
Wow, wow.
Nothing but God. And
Were you hurt? Were you like, how hurt were you?
when you get hit by two 18 wheelers, you would think that blood was everywhere and I was all torn to pieces. And the only blood that you could see, I ended up cutting my finger on a piece of glass when I was getting out of the automobile. But the motor of the automobile was on the ground because
Okay.
the hood of the automobile was on the second 18 wheeler because it kind of ran over the top of the when it was trying to stop. If you looked at the automobile, you would be like, I don't know how she got out of that alive. It's no way
Wow.
possible that, you know, everybody that came on the scene was like, it's no way possible that they're alive. And I'm sitting on the side of the road and I'm fussing because I had on one shoe. And I always
Yeah.
remember my mom told me, make sure don't walk with one shoe on, don't walk with one shoe on. So I was
Oh
like, I
my
need my shoes, I need my shoes. And they were like, you just got hit
God.
by two 18 wheelers and you worried about
Oh, no, but at that time you were probably just like not aware of what's going on, and your initial reaction was like, look at yourself, but it's you. Because that's a shocking event. I mean,
it was definitely devastating.
yeah.
They
Did you
admitted
have
me
to be
to the hospital.
hospitalized? Like for
I
a,
did- I went to the hospital. They admitted me to the hospital.
okay,
Um, they did a bunch of tests, and at first they couldn't find the fracture in my back.
okay,
Um,
wow,
but it took like 3 days for the swelling to go down, and once the
okay,
swelling started going down, they were able to see the fracture. So I was a hairline fracture from being paralyzed.
okay,
The doctor was like, don't sneeze, don't bend over fast, don't pick up nothing, don't. And I was like, oh my God. So they gave me this big, heavy brace that I had
yeah,
to be in at all times.
okay,
Um, Whenever I got out of the bed, I had to put the brace on.
okay,
Um, I had to, slowly move. And it was hard because I was so independent and
right,
used to taking care of myself, and then you have to turn everything over to other people helping you.
yeah,
It was definitely really, really hard. I missed a lot of my kids' sports during that healing process. So emotionally, it
right,
took a hard toll on me. Um,
okay,
because I just felt like, basically, why me?
mm-hmm,
Was a lot of things
yes,
that went through my head.
yes,
Like, why me? Why now? I'm thankful to be alive, but
right,
what's the purpose behind it? And at that time, I did not see a purpose behind it.
okay,
Um, because it was just basically a survival of the fittest, trying to get
right,
myself back up and going and back to work and back to doing the things that I was doing and taking care of my kids myself. And it was a lot. It was a definitely a um challenging experience, but on top of
Right.
being challenging, it gave me patience because I
Right.
didn't have
Wow.
very much
Yes.
patience.
Yes.
So it gave me a lot of patience because I had a lot of time to be still,
Right.
and
How
think
long
and
did it
pray.
last? How long did you have to be in that condition?
I was down about 7.5 months.
Oh my god, that is a long time, especially when you have young kids. You have to work. Did you have to miss work?
Yeah.
Chores, just moving around. Wow, I admire you. And don't ever question why you. The reason is you're here now because you have a purpose. And we're going to talk about that. I cannot wait to find out what you've been doing now, all because of all the patience that you learned, the resilience that, happened because of all this. I can't. I'm not surprised that you're here thriving. Talk about the loss of your mom. I know that we mentioned that. Like,
Yes.
how
So
hard was that? And maybe share.
in March of 2016, I lost my mom.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Is that
my
COVID? Is that the
mom,
COVID year?
no, it was before COVID. It
Before
was
COVID,
before
yeah.
COVID. Yeah, it was
Okay.
before COVID. And she had been sick off and on for years. So um, we kind of thought that when she passed, it would be a bunch of bells and whistles because most of the time when
Right.
she got sick, we had to call an ambulance, and you know, it was just a lot of moving and shaking, and like they say, God says, like a thief in the night. It definitely was
Yeah.
like a thief in the night. She was up and woke and talking a little bit that Monday, and that that Monday night, my sister called and told me that she had passed before
For
daybreak.
what? Like, for
But she
what?
was, I mean,
Aneurysm?
she had been on a ventilator because her lung had collapsed,
Okay.
and we
Okay.
took her home, so she was home.
Okay.
We had her at home for 2 years before she actually passed,
Okay.
and they didn't expect her to live that long. So we were grateful for the time and
Okay.
that God allowed us the extra time that He allowed us with her because they said she wasn't gonna be able to talk because of the trach in her throat.
Right.
She was able to talk. She was still able to get on the phone and talk to family and do things and she's always been my inspiration because
Yes.
from the age of 6 years old she had been sick one way or another. So I was always impressed by her faith in God
Right.
and her desire to keep going and keep pushing no matter what was going on.
Right.
So when she passed, I didn't just lose my mom, I lost my best friend. I lost my hero. I lost well,
Yeah.
it's like everything crumbled in my life. Um, I felt hurt. I felt like I had been abandoned, like God had forsaken me. Um, I was mad, I was angry, I
Right.
was I was bitter because, I was like, now I feel like as the oldest child, all of this is on me. That was my thought.
Yes.
That was my
Yes.
process. And even
Right.
though my dad was still living, you still feel like, okay, now I got to step into the shoes of somebody that had some big shoes to fill. And I would always say if I was even half the person that my mom ever
Right.
was, then I would be a wonderful person. So, losing her was really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then the same year, 2016, August, we had that big flood that came through Louisiana, and we lost our home again to the flood.
Again?
We lost
Oh
our
my
home to the flood.
goodness. Was that ever
So
featured? I'm sure one of those that featured in the news.
it was a big flood of 2016 in
Oh,
Louisiana. They called it the 100-year flood.
okay.
Um, and
And
it
refresh
flooded.
my memory. What caused it? Was it just what? Just hurricane, flash flood? Was it a dam? Like, refresh our
Mm,
memory.
We don't even to this day we really don't know what caused it because it was like the water came from nowhere, and because it wasn't even raining hard. Like we've had hurricanes, we've had all kind of thunderstorms and rain on top of rain on top of rain. no kind of flood like that. And all of a sudden it was like it was sprinkling. Um, and I was like, okay, because I was at home and I'm looking out the window and I'm like, well, that water looked like it's, moving up a little fast. So we went and we got our dogs and we brought them closer to the house
All
because we
right.
had like go in the yard. And the next time I looked out, it was like the water just was rising and it was starting to come into the house. So um, we were trying to put stuff so we can try to keep it out of the house, and it wasn't a way of getting it to stay out. So the house took on 4 feet of water,
How
um,
many? How many feet?
4 feet. The
Okay.
house took on 4 feet of water. We basically waded out of the house. It was a little bit above my waist.
Oh my God.
As we were
Did
walking
you go
out,
up the roof? Did you go up like how did you help yourself?
we
How
we
did you
walked out. We walked out the front door. It was just the water was high, but it wasn't higher than we were tall. So we're carrying dogs and we're carrying the little bit of stuff that we can get out. And in that same time, my husband was there. He had came from work and was trying to help.
Right, right.
We don't know, to this day, we still don't know what did him. He ended up in the hospital with a bad, bad staph infection. So we're trying to figure out what's going on with the house. We're trying to,
Right.
our daughter got her wedding coming in like 4 or 5 days that the center flooded. So we're going through total chaos. My husband's in the hospital. Um, we try to figure out when the water is going to come out of the house. The water was in the
Yeah.
house for 3 days before we could even get back into the house. Um, it was a lot. It was a whole
That's
lot. Yeah, it was a
now
whole
I can't now you can say that thing again that you said. Why me? Now I can't blame you for saying that. Why me? Wow. I don't even know. I usually reflect on what my guest talks about. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I admire you for being here and just sharing your story. Because that's not easy. And I know you have more. And
right.
whew, do you want to talk about that? Or you want to talk about in a little while? Like I know there's another one that could
Yeah.
have really made you broken. Tell us about your cancer journey.
Well, I'm still on a chemo pill.
Okay.
I actually come off the chemo pill next year. I had to take it for 5 years. So, 2021, I went to the doctor and my blood work showed that my levels were really, really high,
Yes.
which indicates that I could possibly get breast cancer.
Okay.
I had already had 2 tumors removed from my breast, well, 1 tumor removed from my breast, and they were getting ready to remove the second tumor from my breast. Both of them ended up being benign, thank God for that. But to keep me from getting cancer, since my risks were so very, very high, they're like outrageously high. They
Right,
put me
right,
on the
right.
chemo pill, so I take a chemo pill every day, um, basically to keep me from getting breast cancer. Um, and when they first said it, it was like, so I'm gonna have to get my breast removed, and all these thoughts are going through my head, like, am I gonna get sick from the chemo pill?
Yeah, yeah.
Am I gonna have to do radiation? Am I gonna lose my hair? All these thoughts are going through my mind, and um, they basically was like, well, these are the symptoms that can come from the chemo pill. Um, some people get nauseated, some people do have the hair loss. They went over all the different things that could happen with being on the chemo pill.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh God, how am I get through this? And I came home, I told my husband about what was going on. The first pill that they put me on made me really, really sick. I couldn't
Right, right.
tolerate it. And they switched me to the one I'm on now, and I've actually tolerated it really well. The only side effect that I have from it is I do have a little memory fog.
Right,
which
right,
which is normal. And I did lose my hair.
right,
Where it started shedding, and I just cut it really, really low. So I did lose some of my hair. But that's a small price to pay for being here and still being able to be with my kids, my grandkids.
right,
So I was okay with it. Um, 2022 rolls around, and I'm still mentally trying to process all
right,
this stuff
right.
it is, and we find out that my dad has skin cancer.
Okay,
So we're like, okay, well, actually, we found out at the end of 2021, and then 2022, they did the procedure to remove the skin, remove the
okay,
cancer. Um, he went through all the treatments, went through the surgery, went through everything, and not even a full year later, he passed in 2023.
okay.
So I'm like, okay, so now I've lost my next hero because my
Yeah,
my dad was like, basically like a guardian angel on
yeah,
earth. He was a pastor, God fearing. He was wonderful to my mom. He was a
right.
wonderful dad to us. I mean, he was hard on us. He was very, very
Yeah.
hard on us, but it was worth it. Um, and I always prayed that I would get a husband that was in the image of my dad, and I did, because my husband is more than wonderful to me.
No.
I'm really appreciative of him. He supports everything I do. He's right there for me. Even when I had my wreck, we were dating. We had just started
Right,
dating like 5 months before I had the wreck, and he still stood by me. He was right there. So
right.
I'm very appreciative to him. But I have been through a lot. Um,
Yes.
Last year, he lost his dad. Um, and last year I also lost my dad's brother passed as well.
Okay. Wow.
So we've had that loss going on. And then this year, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we lost well, he's like a grandfather to me, but he's my sister
Okay.
and brother godparent. He passed,
Okay.
and he passed from cancer. So now we
One
here we
after the
are.
other.
Here we are here now with all of this stuff that should have broken me, and I'm not broken.
You are not broken. I'm just looking at you with that beautiful smile. And, you know, it's
Yeah.
tough, but you're here. And I can't wait to find out how you overcame it. Lacole, your story touches my heart so deeply. Like, I'm just so glad that I started this series because it just gives people that space, that avenue to just share. With all the stories that you shared, a lot of people hopefully have resonated with it. And, we're going to learn from you on how you overcame it despite it becoming one on top of the other. It's not a joke what you went through. Um, Personally, I've experienced several losses in my life. In fact, the last series I had was called The Lost Child. So I featured people who had childhood trauma and lost, childhood trauma. Like you, I lost my father. I was like what 11. I lost two brothers. These losses shape us. It changes us
They do.
definitely.
They do.
They are heavy, but then in my case, Lacole, I came to realize something powerful, that loss doesn't really have to define us or defeat us. I'm
Right.
looking at you right now. It also can be a catalyst for change. And like you, that's really what I try to share with my audience, that we are not alone. And I want you to know from my heart that I feel you, and I truly do. And I want to say how deeply sorry I am for everything that you've endured and probably what you are going through right now. Because the last one was just, you said, 2 weeks ago. And I also want to say that I see your power. I see your strength. I look at you and I see a very strong woman. And you're going to be okay. I know it. I can feel it. Like I feel your soul. I feel your energy, and you still have a purpose in life. Despite all these, I know you have a greater purpose in life. Um, so, no, Lacole, those I know that facing so many battles impact you personally, emotionally, mentally, physically, or even spiritually.
Yes.
How did it shape your sense of purpose?
I think in the beginning, I pulled away from God, um,
Okay.
because I felt the hurt, I think, was way too heavy. So
Right.
I started to pull away a little bit.
Right.
I went into a deep depression for about 3 years. I was basically just, it was like walking in a fog almost, just trying to get through. I started drinking and I didn't realize that I was basically on the verge of becoming an alcoholic, basically,
Okay.
because I was drinking in the morning basically for to get going. I was drinking when I got off work. And then I was hiding it from my children because I didn't want them to see me being in a weak state. I wanted them
Yes.
to see me as, the mom that they always saw. I never allowed my children to see me feel defeated, see me
Right.
feel weak or look weak. Even when I was down with my wreck, I still was encouraging them. I still was trying to do things um, so that they didn't feel like, I was defeated. I was
Right. Right.
taken over. So, I mean, even as hard as that was, um, just dealing with the depression, I think was the hardest thing. Trying to get out of depression is really, really hard.
Of course.
Because most of the time you don't even realize that you're in a depressed state. You're just trying to survive. You're just trying to
Right.
get through one day to the next day, and you don't realize that you don't fallen into that spiral of depression. Um,
Right.
so basically, 2019, one morning I woke up and I just was like, Lord, I'm surrendering this to you. I
Right.
can't do this no more. I'm tired. Um, I can't bear this cross. This cross is
Right.
too heavy. It's weighing me down. It's too much. And I was like, I just need some relief. I need
Right.
um some sense of something calm,
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere, you know. And I started a group called Motivational Talk. And
Okay.
Motivational Talk was just at first it was just me in there, and I would
Is it
put how
something
I felt.
virtual or is it like in-person group that
It's
you can?
on Facebook.
Okay.
It's on
All right.
Facebook. So I started a little Facebook group, and it was supposed to just be for me to dump how I felt
Okay.
into that group. And as I was talking to two of my friends, and they was kind of like, well, maybe we can bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
So I added those two to the group, and we kind of, spilling and talking, and then we started with like, well, maybe this person would like to come in, and maybe this person would like to come
Okay.
in. So the group started to grow, and the more that
Wait, when did you start this again? What year did you
in
start this?
2019,
Okay. All right. So, wow,
2019,
it's
it's been a
okay.
while. Um,
Is it just women or is it just
it's
anyone?
just women. Yeah, that
Okay.
group is just women. That one is
Okay.
just women. Um, so I'm pouring into it. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling better because I'm getting to see people say, hey, this helped me. I was going through such and such, and thank you for sharing that because I feel like I'm not alone. And then the more I
Mhm.
was sharing, and the more people were talking about what was going on with them, and I was telling them this is your safe space. You can pretty much say whatever you want. It's not gonna leave out of this space. Um, and it was relaxing. So I was like,
Yes.
okay, you know, I really like doing this. I was getting excited, like, okay, it's time to do something in the group
Okay.
and then God came to me, I don't know if it was a dream or a vision,
Okay.
and he basically told me three of the ladies that I needed to connect with. So I reached out to all three of the ladies and we started doing a ladies night on Thursday.
Okay.
Um, we had different topics that we talked about. We had different guests come on and talk about stuff that motivated, encouraged, inspired people. And I was like, well, the first show, I was absolutely terrified
Okay.
because I was not the type of person that liked to be up front in the front of the camera. I'll do whatever
Okay.
you wanted behind the scenes, but I never wanted to be up front and central. So I was like, I'm questioning God, like, do you really think that I need to be involved? Why these three just can't be? And I'll be
Wow.
happy with it. And we did it for 3 years,
Okay.
and
So
our
wait,
all
this
of
is
our
this your
lives.
annual? Is this like the the expo that you're talking about? The three of, am I correct? Or this is just your
Expo.
virtual?
This is just a virtual, yes.
Okay, okay. Because I know you started like like
Uh,
what do you call that? Like, Okay. So anyway, okay, continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so as we were doing the group, all of us started to kind of get busy, and this one started going on, this one started going on, and I kept that group open for my ladies. So I still have that group. It has almost 300 people in that group. So I still actually post in that group to this day.
Okay.
Um, and then I created Motivational Talk Dialogues and Show, which is
Okay.
my show group. And
That's it.
I
Yeah. Mhm.
I get entrepreneurs and authors. They come on and they be on my show. I give um, helpful tips. I give information. I talk about stuff. I have another group that's called Storytelling Unleashed, which is
Okay.
connected to my AL Publishing and Consulting.
Okay.
But in 2022, I wrote my book called Leaps of Faith, which is
Nice.
basically all the things that I was talking about today.
Right.
They're in that book. And I'm actually making a series from that book that I'm working on now. So
That's amazing. That is
um,
amazing.
I'm excited about that. The series will be coming out really, really soon. It'll be out and it's gonna go into more detail about the things that I went through and overcame. And the extra stuff that has happened along the way as
Mhm.
well. So I'll be adding that in the
Okay.
series, and um, my publishing company actually came from when I wrote my book,
Okay.
and it was just a lot. I had to
Right.
go over
Right. Right.
here for editing, over here for um formatting, and it was too much. It was too much back and forth. So I was like, look, I'm gonna create a company where you can do everything in-house. So
Oh.
you can write your book. I'm an author mentor, so I teach you how to write a book. I teach you, how to self-publish, so you can self-publish. You can do. We do the editing, the formatting. I have my daughter that does the book covers, and then if you want something extensive, I have a outsourced person that works on like the hyper book covers
Right.
that
Right.
she can do. We have that. We have, like I said, the editing, the formatting, the
Wow.
um, we do everything. And then on top of that, I have where once you finish, like if you go through my one-on-one mentorship,
Right.
once you finish that, you actually get to be promoted by my boss,
Okay.
my business mentor. She's a
Okay.
promoter. And you get a year of that. You get a year with a financial advisor for to help you learn how to manage your book as a business because now it's a brand.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
so we do all of that, and we have I have a guy that does takes the books and turn them into audibles. So all of this is in house. So we do everything. And I help you get on podcasts. I help you get on stages. I help you, obviously be on my show so you can get
Right.
comfortable with being on shows. I have a mentoring for course for motivational speaking. So
Okay.
once you start doing all of this, you can go through that motivational speaking class and you'll
Right.
be able
Right.
to
Right.
talk. better.
Right.
So all of this just, and
You are busy. You are so
I love it.
busy.
And I
Yes.
love it. I know that this is my purpose. I know that that's
Yes.
why I'm here. And a lot of times, I used to wonder what my purpose was. But then when
Yes.
I started doing all of these things, I was like, this is my purpose. This is why I'm
Right.
here. Thank you. I was like, thank you, Lord, for allowing me the opportunity to be this person to those that need it and help them get through their trauma, help them get through the things
Right.
that they've been through. And it's just, it's refreshing
Yeah.
to see, it's refreshing to see my brand expand. It's refreshing to see
Yeah.
the smiles on people's face when their book is complete and they actually get to hold it in their hand, and when they get on podcasts and they're talking about their story and they're doing different things, and it's amazing. I love every part of it.
I will definitely be connecting with you because like you, I'm an aspiring author, but I'm stuck right now. I just feel all of a sudden I started writing and I just woke up and like when you have a calling, like I need to go on a different path. So I needed to take a pause on that. It wasn't what I need to write on. So I'm still building my chapter. I'm still building my story. And I'm the
Okay.
type of person wherein it's all or nothing. So I'm waiting for that biggest inspiration, like something that I'm doing that will just what I mean? Like I can sit down and complete my book because I know
Yeah.
I'm there. But I will definitely be because I need a publisher. I need somebody to guide me. Not right now because, like I said, I am waiting for that aha moment. But I'm also the type of person wherein I had to stop because I knew this is not the path that I needed to that God wants me to go. So I'm almost there. Like I know all of us one of these days it's just gonna like this is what you write about. And I
Ariel.
know I'm going to have everything, the experience, the knowledge, the inspiration, and I will be there connecting with you. Can you please help me with like the back end and this? Now,
Definitely.
yeah, right. So, Lacole, um, part of this podcast is I believe that you and I are here for a reason, and I like sharing how we go through our struggles in life. So, thank you for sharing how you did yours, despite all the things that happened to you. Now, let me share mine. So, my way, the way I face my battles now is really completely different than it used to be. I've really learned that we go through battles every day. It's just like I just believe that every day we go through battles, some big,
Yeah.
some small. My way now, Lacole, is I face them head on. I cry when I need to. I grieve when I have to, but I don't ignore them.
Right.
I sit in the pain. Like sometimes I would be in bed for like just 2 days crying or like feeling bad about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to cry and scream and yell, right? And
Yes.
the biggest shift, yeah, and at that time I worked through it in the moment. And the biggest shift I've experienced, Lacole, is I've trained my mind to find meaning even in the struggle, right? Like to trust that every single challenge that you and I go through is shaping something better in me, in us. So that mindset shift that really saved me. That it's like every day. So when I encounter something every day, I just tell myself it's okay. This is gonna help me. This is gonna help me grow, and I am not sharing all my struggles. It's a lot. We're probably going to be podcasting for 5 hours. We all go through life challenges. So
Yeah.
basically, that's what I do. Just a complete mindset, not to feel bad, just move on, head on. All right. And I'm just glad that you were able to share how you did yours, how you found your purpose. Lacole, now, I know you had so many things, right? So, what any other way that you want to like add to how you really turned everything that you want to add more to how you think others can work on around like whatever struggles on top of what you did, is there any other thing that you are doing to help you and help others overcome whatever they're going through.
Well, basically, stay connected to the source. That's
Okay.
one of my things
Right.
that I like to
Okay.
say. Stay connected, stay prayed up. Um, and I have to remind people, no matter what it is, we have to stop carrying the cross because
Okay.
the cross is
Right.
not for us to bear. The cross
Okay.
is for us to handle it, look at it, not feed it, not prolong it. And when we take it to God, we have to lay that cross there and
Okay.
not pick it back up again. Because most of
Right.
the time, what we do is we tell God, look, I need you to handle this. I need you to take care of this. But then before we leave, we pick that cross back up and we figure in our minds that we can fix it. And it's not for us to fix, it's for us to feel it,
Right.
learn
Right.
from it, give it to God, and help others grow from it, what you
Right.
carry. We're not supposed to carry that weight all the time because that I'm doing some things in my book club where I'm going through negative words.
Right.
And when you're carrying all this weight, it brings on the grudges, the frustration, the hatred, the
Yes.
chaos in your life, all the dysfunction in your life. All of these
Right.
things come from you trying to carry that cross that you took to God and you laid it down, but you picked it back up. So now you got
Right.
health issues. Now you got mental issues. Now you have a disconnect spiritually. You have all of these things going on because you're not doing what God basically asked us to
Right.
do, is bring
Right.
it to Him. And I had to learn that I can't do it alone. I
Okay.
have to
Yes.
have him on my side. I have to be able to trust the process. I have to be able to know that if I went through this thing, it was a test for a
Right.
testimony. So that test was setting me up for a testimony. And I started to learn from my test
Okay.
instead of um, holding on to them.
Okay.
So
Yes.
now what I try to do is when something challenging comes my way, um I try to identify what it is. I
Yes.
try
Okay.
to once I identify what's going on, what's bothering me, then I go to the next step, which that next step is feeling it. Because
Yes.
once you identify what the problem is, you have to feel it. You have to understand, okay, this is why I feel this way.
Right.
But we don't want to hold on to that. So at that point, it's time for you to hand it over to God and give him the
Yes.
steering wheel, give him the wheel, let him handle it for you because he can handle it better than anybody else. And instead of going back into that dark tunnel, we plug into the source so that we can
Right.
have the light that we need, so that we can see clearly, we can understand better. Um, and it's more refreshing when we
Right.
just say, okay, Lord, I'm letting you handle this. It still may be some things that I have to deal with, but that burden is not as heavy.
Right.
So that's kind of what I do now. Um,
Hmm.
it didn't come overnight, and it's still a
Yes.
process. It's still a process,
Yes.
and I'm learning new things every day. To add to the process. I'm learning new ways to cope with things. I'm learning new ways
Right.
to deal with things. Learning new ways to help my clients get through stuff. It's always a
Hmm.
learning process. Um, One of the best things that my business mentor told me was every day take 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you have it, and plug into something that's going to benefit your business, plug into
Right.
something that's going to benefit you mentally, spiritually, physically. So, um, these are the things that I do. I listen to my gospel music. I watch
Hmm.
positive podcasts. I go on looking for podcasts that are inspirational, like your podcast. I look for things where I can share my story to help others.
Right.
So instead of sitting in all of the things that I've been through, I use that to help people get
Right.
through the things that they're going through. And when I look at it that way, it's way more fulfilling than any
Yes.
pain that I ever felt.
I want to reflect on two things that you just mentioned. Podcasts. Now it's becoming like there's so many podcasts out there because I see the benefit of a podcast. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like people like when I come up with a series, like well, I really reflect. It takes me a while because I really want something that will resonate with a lot of people. Because nowadays people don't have to go to a doctor, don't have to go to a psychologist. Sometimes all they need to do is turn on Spotify or YouTube, find a podcast that will have meaning in them. Because we're like me, I am so intentional with the guests that I feature. I had to read your bio, so, you know what I mean? And sometimes I have some kind of like intuition. I feel the person as I read the bio. Like I know that this person has a story and a lesson to share with my audience. I don't just, hey, okay, she looks good, or like I like, I'll no, I have to really reflect on every guest that I feature, because you're not just here as a guest, like we're gonna collaborate after. You know what I mean? That's you and
Exactly.
I helping each other. And I feel that with all the stories that all the struggles that you went through, a lot of people will resonate with it. And who's better specialist to give them advice but you and I, people that
Mhm.
actually went through life
Yes.
hands on, right? You don't need a
Right.
degree, you don't need a master's, you don't need a
Right.
doctorate. Everything can come from your mind, your heart, and your experiences. And
Definitely.
I really hope, because people are so lost at this time. Now, there are people, we all go through life challenges, and sometimes just part of your self care is listen to podcast, because there's so
Definitely.
many lessons that you will learn from others. And the second thing that I wanted to like reflect on what you said is that power of turning point of our life. You know what our issue is? Sometimes we wait for a big turning point before we actually realize that, oh my god, oh my god, this is happening to me, oh my god, I need a change, right? Like
Right.
we always wait for that big defining moment before we learn from it. And that really resonated with me because I'm guilty of that. Okay, so for me, that turning point came after I
Mhm.
lost my husband 2023. So my husband passed away 2023. Like I was living life, like you, like everyday challenges, face it, not realizing that it was already like burning me inside. Like my husband has been sick forever since I met him. So like, your life kind of changes.
Right.
It wasn't a normal family situation because he's been sick, he's always had heart problems, so it kind of diminishes our personality, our being, our self-worth. So like everybody else, we always wait for that defining moment, that turning point, before we can say, I'm gonna take care of me, right? I think we're all
Right.
guilty of that. We wait until we need medication, that we were already going through this mental breakdown, nervous
Yeah.
breakdown, before we realize that, oh my gosh, I need something. So now it really opened something inside me. Yes, I had to wait for that turning point, but now I want to share with others that sometimes don't wait for that very big thing to hurt you, to
Yes.
change you. All you just like in everything thing and in every day, find meaning and find purpose to your everyday life. It could be big, it could be small. And also, like you, I want to leave them with self care. When you cannot look at yourself in the mirror, that's what happened to me, because like I saw someone miserable, sad. That's when I went on this self-care journey. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that
Exactly.
time when you can't even look at
Exactly.
yourself anymore, right?
Right.
So that's it. I just wanted like you to give, my this is my way to help others. Love yourself, love yourself, because that's the best way for you to face head on whatever you're dealing with, right?
Definitely. Definitely. And then we have to realize that if we're broken and we're
Yeah.
trying to pour into somebody else that's broken, two broken
Yes.
items cannot fix each other. So we have to, somebody has to be whole and somebody has to be,
Yes.
we're not gonna ever be completely whole because the things that we have came across have fractured our bodies, have changed our mindsets, have taken us to a different level. But even in the midst of all of that, we still have the ability to pour from a full
Right.
glass because every time we take the things that we've been through and we help
Right.
somebody else heal, our breaks are stealing. So every time I pour into somebody and I'm helping them heal, that break in my glass is closing up. It's getting
Yes.
closer and closer. And then eventually it's going to be a full glass again. And I'll be able to pour into many people because now I'm full. Now I'm whole.
Yes.
And I can learn how to help them pour from a full glass. And that's what I'm trying to do. I want to be the person that helps you fix your broken glass so that you can pour into other people. And the more that I do that, the more that I talk to people, the more that I get on podcasts or shows or do my own show or, encourage
Yeah.
somebody, the more full my glass becomes. So even with you and your podcast, you're going to heal so many people, but in the
Yeah.
process of healing the people that are coming to you or on your show or listening to your show, you're going to heal as well because you're going to be talking about your story. So every time we talk
Right.
about our story, we're laying a piece of that story down and it doesn't hurt us as much. Every time we
Right.
talk about it, it hurts a little bit
Yes.
less. And then from that hurt that you lay down, you're picking up power.
Right.
So every time we tell our story, we're picking up more power and we're releasing the hurt, we're releasing the pain. So we have to continue to release the hurt, release the pain, and pick up the power and help other people do the same thing.
And like what the way you explained it a while ago was so beautiful. I remember, because I'm a speaker, as well, and every day I show up in my social media, just sharing a part of me, sharing lesson for me, and remember that video that I made exactly what you said. Two negatives do not give you anything positive. It only
No,
gives you pain. It only gives you suffering. So both
definitely.
to if you're both in pain, you're not helping each other. You're just causing more pain. So one has to heal, so that
Yeah.
you can shine bright for that other person to learn from you. And I truly truly believe in that sometimes it's okay to say no to people that are causing you to feel
Yes.
hurt, to feel unmotivated, to feel down, people that no longer serve give you your purpose, your power. No, take a break from them because you're not helping each other, you're just dimming it for both of you. You know what I mean? And you know
Mhm.
what, when I also believe that if that person or situation that you pushed away because you're healing comes back, it's because it's meant to be part of your life. And he or she or that experience is gonna only experience your healed self, right? Isn't that
Right.
so
Right.
beautiful?
It
Like they're
is.
always gonna come back. Like the situation, family member or friend that you pushed away because they're just dimming your light, they're gonna come back if they're meant to be in your path. And they're gonna experience the brightest part of you and I, right? Oh my God, that is so
Definitely.
beautiful, right?
Definitely.
This is why I love my podcast. Like out of the blue, I like find myself saying things. I'm like, where am I getting this? And you know where I get it from? My guest. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like because we go through all these things in our life, it's just it just comes out naturally. Like what we want others to learn from us because we actually experienced it, right? So
Definitely.
beautiful, so beautiful.
Definitely.
Another really big part of my podcast is resilience. Okay,
Yeah.
I believe in resilience. That is why we're here, you and I, having this
Right.
conversation today. It's because you've walked through the fire and chose to keep walking. And me, I've been
Mhm.
doing the same. I took all the
Absolutely.
broken pieces, right? The grief, the pain, the trauma, and used this to build something stronger, and something real. And I believe, I know we both have, everybody has their higher source and their God. And I believe that we are all made as blank slates, and everything we experience, good or bad, is part of what makes us whole, right? And I don't think anyone is perfect, but in my own way, I'm complete. I feel like me being resilient is me being complete, and so are you, right?
Definitely,
What is
definitely.
resilience for you, my friend? How
It's
is, like,
basically the
how do you
same.
embody? Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. That reveal, like you say, it's that blank canvas that you're painting a picture for others to see. And when you're in the midst of all that mess, and you might just have a bunch of paint colors all over but
Right.
then once you pull everything together, that beautiful
Yes.
masterpiece that shines in the end, that's what comes from that resilience. That's what comes from all of that torn and hurt and broke and
Yes.
just,
Yeah.
you know, it looks like a hot mess when it's all laid out on that blank canvas, and you can put all these different colors and shades, and it looks like it's not going anywhere.
Right.
But then
Right.
once you finish that picture, it's a masterpiece and it's worth
Yes.
millions, but to you it's priceless because it came with a price that nobody can ever pay you for. But the people that look at it, it's gonna mean so much to them. It's gonna be so empowering to them. It's gonna be so leveling up to them. And all you can see in the beginning was that mess, and now you have something beautiful. And people are admiring it, and people are happy that they are able to see it and be a part of it and talk about it and
Right.
connect to it. And that's where we are, we had to go through all of this mess and all this hurt and this pain and this anguish and everything that we took on and everything that we weighed us down and we thought it was gonna break us, but yet we still standing. So definitely
So
enjoy
beautiful.
the process.
The people who are the most successful in life, the
Yeah,
powerful, the strong, are the ones who really struggled in life, because those struggles, those trauma that you and I go through makes you who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And I just hope people realize that you're going to be okay. If Lacole went through everything, grief, loss, illness, pain, and she's right here, not just embracing her strength, her power, but empowering others, you can do it too. Lacole and I were just two women who are navigating life, but we found our strength. We use these experiences to fuel us to be stronger. And people I just hope people understand that you're gonna be okay. Find your worth, find your purpose, because everybody has their own path and journey. I truly believe in that, right?
definitely. They definitely do. Yes,
Like, it could be baby steps for others, it could be big leaps, because it depends on which path your source, your God wants you to go. Um, Now, through your book and your mentorship and your annual expo, tell me what's next for you. I'm sure with people like you and I, we hate being stuck. We always find ways to better ourselves. What's next? What's next for you? Do you want to share with us?
Um, actually, I have some books coming out,
Okay.
Reimagining Reality. Um, and basically, this series is going to be about taking negative words and turning them into positive situations. So the
Okay.
first one is about storms and tornadoes and hurricanes, and we all look at these things as stuff that destroy and tear up, and um, I take these words and I give you a breakdown as to why they are beautiful after the fact and what the beauty
Yes.
of the word is. And also, like I said, the series that's going to go along with my Lisa Facebook is going to be coming out. I'm already working toward my expo for next year for the authors and entrepreneurs. So it's going to be
Okay.
a big expo the weekend of June 19th through the 21st. 2026. So, working toward that, getting that together. Every year I have a walking in faith women's workshop every
Okay.
April. So April the 25th, I think it is.
Okay.
Whatever the last Saturday in 2026, April is, I have that. It's gonna be my fifth annual workshop for just pouring into women and giving them the opportunity to see the beauty in themselves and the things that are around them. Um, my right now I'm taking author coaching,
Okay.
author people for my author course, people for my motivational speaking course. I'm
Okay.
enrolling for those now too. Um, you can pay either the $50 for the author coaching course per month, or you can
Okay.
pay 200 up front and you're done.
Okay.
It's a one-time payment. It's a 66% discount if you pay up front. The
Nice.
motivational speaking course, if you want to pay the payments, it's $25 a month. If you want to pay up front, it's $100. You pay the $100, and it's also a 68%, I think, discount. I have the one-on-one mentorships. So I have all of these things. Everything is on my website,
Nice.
lacolesmith.com. So I have t-shirts that say Level Up with Lacole.
Aww.
I have that one. That's one. Your voice is important. Speak
Okay.
loudly. That's another one of my logos, uh, t-shirts that you can get. I have those Walking in Faith Women's Workshop t-shirts that you can get. Um, but everything's on the website, lacolesmith.com. You can read up on the courses, the mentorships, and all this stuff. All of those are detailed on the website. And we'll soon be going to YouTube and actually having the my podcast will be on my website coming soon too.
Okay. Okay, so that I just also want to let the viewers know that when I share this podcast, I will get all the links from Lacole so that if you want to connect with her directly, it's all going to be shared on multiple social media because Lacole is definitely empowering a lot of women, and sometimes you need guidance, you need a mentor to support you. It's not easy navigating a new path, a new direction. Sometimes you need mentors. And who are the best mentors? But people who actually went through everything. And I'm sure Lacole, her group, her mission, her book will definitely lead you to the right path. So I'm gonna make sure that I have all your links. And I just want to really just say thank you for helping others,
Yeah.
with
Well,
with
thank you for
with
doing the same.
themselves. Yeah. You know what? I also wanted to let you know that your journey, Lacode, is exactly why I love what I do now. My path, like you, I'm a keynote speaker, I'm a podcast host, and I have my own live show. This is how this is my way of sharing my story. And I don't think anyone should stop. You and I should continue sharing our story because you never know who at that moment will be listening,
Definitely.
and then there's going to be new people who will find their weakest point in their life, and sometimes all they need to do is turn it on and they find one of us, and hopefully it will
Exactly.
just help them build themselves up. Like you, I show up in the world. I've only been doing this a year. I found a new
Okay.
purpose, yeah, to help others find their self-worth and rise too, like you. So it's really no longer just about us right now, because
Exactly.
we went all through this. It's about being a mirror, a light, and a reminder to others.
Mhm.
Healing is possible. Healing is
Exactly.
possible.
Exactly.
And I'm loving my journey, and I'm sure you are too. And people love your journey, love it, no matter how big, how small, how bad, how good. Enjoy it
Exactly.
because it has a purpose. You are meant to experience all this for a reason, for
Yeah.
a reason. So it's not going to be all bad. We have
Right.
both do women here empowering each other because of all these things, and you can do it too. Lacole. Sorry, I keep calling you Nicole. One last, I hate to end this because you and I definitely connected and we have such wonderful podcasts, and hopefully others will find the same worth watching it. If there is, you said so many things already, if there is one powerful message, a wisdom, a quote, just one that you want others to remember you with or by, what would that be?
Well, I guess it's my favorite phrase that I like to say. I like to
Okay.
tell people your voice is important. Speak loudly.
Love
So,
that.
if you have a story, tell your story. You know, somebody's gonna heal from your story, and each
Yes.
time you tell your story, it's a healing for yourself. So, utilize your voice. Stop sitting on it. Stop being quiet. Um, Speak so that you can heal the world. And the more we talk, the more people will heal.
That is so beautiful. That is that could be a quote in itself. Thank you. Thank you. It's just amazing how, cuz when I post every day, I I show quotes, I show my personal stories, I speak, and now I'm learning my quotes are now my personal. I make my own quotes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I try not to use known authors now, or I use my own. Like I want people to learn that you can be your own author, you can be your own
Exactly.
quote person. Wait, how do you say a quote whoever. You can be your own I guess
Oh,
author. You know what I mean?
affirmation.
Yeah, right? So
Make your
I
own
like that.
affirmation. Because
I
I do
love
that. I do that as well.
Yeah, me too. Positive. Yeah, affirm a good life. Affirm a positivity in your life. I do that too. Meditate if you have to, and ground yourself. Those are some of the things that I've found helpful. All right, and I just want to say that what you just said was truly beautiful. Beautiful
Thank
message.
you.
Thank you. And Nicole, thank you for sharing your heart so openly and so authentically.
Thank
And
you.
before we close, any other thing that you want to add before we wrap up? I'm gonna get all your links. Any other last um, message or anything that you want to say before we finalize the podcast?
Well, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to share
Yeah,
my story so that
yeah,
someone that hears my story and hears that podcast that we share today, your story, my story, that it will resonate with somebody and it will help them heal. And that even in the midst of everything that they're going through, give it to God. Lean on him,
yes,
depend on him, um, talk to somebody. You know, don't just hold on to it. Find somebody that you can talk to. Listen to podcasts. Listen to things that are going to be inspirational to you because at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you can't afford to go to the doctor.
yeah,
Sometimes you can't afford all the extra stuff, but if we change the things that we're doing and we start trying to live biblically,
right.
things will change. And the more you do it, the better things get. So
That's
that's what I
beautiful.
have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lacole. And again, thank you again, Lacole, for being here and for being our very, very first guest to kick off this powerful new series. Lacole, your courage, your light, your purpose, inspiring.
Thank
Inspiring.
you. And thank you again for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. And to our listeners, remember this: you may be burned, but you're not broken. Struggles do not define your future, they refine your strength. Because when you rise, you flourish. When you survive, you shine. And when you move forward, you'll come to know this truth: you were never truly broken. All right. So if you also want to connect with me, my website is Candice www.candiceruggiero.com. My social media is linktree/Candice Ruggiero. And I'd love to hear from you and walk this journey of intentional excellence with you. Until the next time, I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero, and I leave you with this message. live with intentionality, lead with purpose, and never forget your life is your message.
Yeah.
Again, have a good night, Lacole. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for everybody for listening. Stay strong, stay grounded, and stay excellent. Have a good night,
All
everyone. Thank
right.
you,
Thank
Lacole.
you. Bye bye.